Okay, so seeing as I haven't actually done any of my homework because I got sidetracked, I don't know what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to make it up as we go along. But even though we don't need to yet, the first thing that I'm going to let you do is fold your covers. So let me just pop that up there. And here's my covers, which don't seem to be awfully straight. They seem to have warped a bit. Anyway, never mind. Ruler, covers. Be very, very careful when you start to fold this up. It shouldn't rip the paper, because Stamperia is really good at not tearing or ripping when we fold it. But I'm still going to be gentle.
As you always
Oh,
are.
right, there we go. Okay. So, there.
Is it done?
I've done it.
Good.
How's everybody else doing? See you later, Celia. Nice to see you. Mwah. See you later.
Oh.
Hi, Diana. Hi, Janet. So, there we go. Your book should look like that, because remember, we've got this bit that sticks out at the side. It's longer on one side. So how are we doing? Have we folded? Are we all good? No horrible surprises and torn corners? It shouldn't. I haven't had a problem with Stamperia doing that before. Oh, Janet, no. That's helpful of him, wasn't it? Gosh, I bet you smiled. Hi, Louise. That's fun. Okay, I'll let you off. Hi, Ellie. Well done, Ruth. Yeah, Elaine, all we've done is we have folded our book. Hi, Gail. So we folded it, so no tears. However, we don't need it tonight.
Michelle has no cracks.
I know. This is nice paper. I've never really had a problem with Stamperia tearing or, you know, causing trouble. So I'm going to put that to one side. So what I want to do tonight is I want to start looking at the inside of the book. Now, I'm going to tell you that what we're going to do is we're going to decorate these pages before we put them into our books. So what we need to do is back decorate these bits here, if you see what I mean, the bits that go behind. Now, I can't remember whether or not I actually matted the whole thing. I did. That was good of me. So what I want to do is I want to mat these pages before we put them in our books. So homework was to make up your pages. I managed to make up 2 in class and didn't do the rest. So we can start with that. And what I want to do is start making these pretty bits.
Pretty.
So what I think we'll do is you're going to have to put up with me just making up those last 2 pages. But what we'll do is we'll base decorate. And I think we could start. I'm just wondering whether or not we should put the... Yeah, shall we... Do you want to put the pages in the book?
Yeah.
Hi, Ali. Right, okay. So you're going to have to hold on. I'm really sorry, guys. I should have thought of this a bit sooner. I'm just going to make up these pages really quick. Oh. Sub boxes are out tomorrow. Mark and I have just been packing them up.
We have.
So they're good to go.
You fill them, I take them.
Yep, I fill them, Mark tapes them. The most of the floating spine books have gone out. Not all of them, but most of them. So they should be winging their way to you as we speak. general orders have gone out, although I've got a couple more to do. So be prepared for lots of posts this week, because it's been a very, very, very busy posting week, really. It has. I nearly packed my phone in somebody's parcel earlier. Oh, and don't forget, if you're having a sub kit, box number 13, whichever we packed that was box number 13, and we do them randomly. I just put all the packing slips in a pile and then just pull them out at random. The 13th box that we packed has got a little surprise in it.
It has, and it's very nice.
It is a nice surprise. Right, I'm going to cut those down a bit. So yes, we do know whose it was, but we're not telling.
What about Sweet Retreat boxes?
They will go out next week, I think. That's the plan.
Tracy Scattergood asks, what are the sub-boxes?
The sub-boxes. Mel, who's knocking about here somewhere, causing trouble, makes the most gorgeous charms you've ever seen, and she always makes the charms for my book. So for instance, on this one we've got this length of snowflakes here, with gemstones and crystals and all sorts of nice things on. Well, Mel and I have been saying for ages and ages and ages and ages that we wanted to do something together with scrapbooks, and you know, something a bit more than what, well, we always do stuff together, but you know what I mean, something a bit more formal. So we had this really bright idea, which seemed a good idea at the time, didn't seem a good idea at 4 o'clock this afternoon when I was still packing blooming boxes, that we would do a subscription box. So at the moment, the first one was August, and then we've done October, which is this one that's just going out now, and December. You sign up for 3. This is the plan this year. Next year will be different, and you get a kit and a private class to make a book. And I'll show you in a minute, just let me just do this, what this month's are, and I might have a couple left. But this was the October book. It's using the new Cartabella Hello Autumn papers. That's Mel's beautiful charm with the little pumpkin shapes and some bells. I love that green bead. And acorns and that absolutely gorgeous leaf. And then this is the book, and it's using Cartabella's Hello Autumn papers, which have just come out. So yeah, if you subscribe to the subscription box, you get a full kit to make the book. You'll get a private class, which is on YouTube, which you can only access through a private link, and of course Mel's charm. Next year, Mel and I have already been working on next year. It's going to go monthly, and we've already worked out which papers we're having for the beginning part of the year as well. And there's some absolutely gorgeous ones coming up. So if you want to subscribe, we will have more information coming up very soon. But I think I've got a couple of spares of this month's, the Hello Autumn. And if that's the case, I will pop them on the website and let you know. If you told me that you wanted one and I haven't been in touch with an invoice, let me know. And I'll get that sorted for you. Right. Okay. Right, there we go. Apologies for not doing my homework. Should have done, didn't. Right, okay. So what we're going to do now is I want to mat the front bits. Now for me, when I'm making a book like this, the very, very flat bit for me, evening Anne, the very, very flat bit. Oh, Ellie, give him a kiss goodnight from me and tell him I will do story time with him one night. That was always my favourite part of the day, story time before you go to bed. For me, the front part of the page is the flat bit, and the back bit is the bit with the thing. It doesn't matter, so long as you've got this opening, you know, on the left hand side so that you can put it into your book. It doesn't matter which way around you do it, but I've just always done it like that. Okay, so what I want to do now is have a look at our papers, because even though we're using 2 packs of the big 12 by 12, we don't want to be missing out on anything, shall we say. So as you can see, what I've done here is I've got a background layer. I don't know how closely I can bring this up. I've got a background layer, which is just the pattern papers. And then I've used the bit that, let's just say, is the picture, the illustrated bit, that goes down the middle here. But on either side, I have got these bits of, you know, the vellum and the pearlescent papers in your kit. These are just torn. And then this bit, this illustrated bit, sits on top. Okay, and then we've got sort of like you know, some of our fussy cutting bits that we've raised up to have some interest. So there's 3 parts to the right hand side of the page, and for me the right hand side of the page was like, that was the storybook bit of it. That was the bit that was, you know, the illustration in the book. So I chose 4 very particular images for that bit. This would be like where the text is, except our text is photographs, but we'll worry about that in a minute. But here, this is the illustration. So we've got the those blooming white flowers that everybody loves so much, those white poinsettias. So, oh, see, I told you I haven't been doing my fussy cutting. I've still got to do that. So I'm going to take that, because that's very important. So I'm going to put that to one side. My lassie with the castle, she's knocking about somewhere. I'm going to put her to one side because she's kind of important and I don't want to lose that. We've got the lassie on horseback, and I don't know if you can see, but I've used for her, the background is that nice sort of wintry imagery, which is that one. And then for my squirrel, I've used the house, which I really like that one. Okay. So we need to keep those safe. So we're going to put those to one side, which means that pretty much any of the other paper is fair game. Okay, we can use the rest of it to mat up. Now on here, I have kind of piecemealed it a bit. I can't remember why, because I don't seem to remember really running out of paper. But we've got to keep paper for the back of both sides. Okay, so let's start at the back. Why not? I can see that behind here, I've used to mat this, I've used the fairy paper, which is, hold on, this one. If you're joining us and you haven't seen the other parts of this, because we're on part 3 now, you'll know at the very beginning we did all of our fussy cutting. We cut the bits out that we needed. So any paper that we've got left is pretty much fair game. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to base mat the front of my page. And to do that, I'm going to measure, I know it's 11 inches down and 6 1/4 across. So if I get my trimmer, I'm going to cut that just under 6 1/4. Let's just make sure that's wide. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to fit on there like that. And then I said 11 inches, didn't I? So I'm going to cut that just under 11 inches too. Okay, so that's my first one. So let's just pop a bit of glue on there. It's horrible sticky stuff. And let's pop that on there like that. Let's get it in the right place. That would be novel. Make sure it's centered top to bottom. There we go. Okay, so that's the back. The reason I'm doing it this way round, which I know is a little bit weird, is very simply because what I'm doing is making sure that I have exactly the right papers that I need. So I'm going to follow what I've done in my book, okay? So turning it over then, we've got the lassie in the castle, and for that one, let's have a look and see what I've used. Looks like I've actually used see what I've got left over here. Oh, sorry. That piece. So I'm going to cut that at just under 6 1/4. And then just under 11. It doesn't really matter which way round you do it. I might do it that way around, I think. Yes, I had trouble finding me as well tonight, Liz. It just wouldn't, because I've got you in front of me on my PC, so I can see vaguely if I'm keeping in frame or not. I do say vaguely. So I like to have it on as well, but I couldn't find it tonight. It's terrible when you can't find yourself, I tell you. Okay, so that's that page done. So the next page, what have I used for that one? Oh. I have used, page I can't find. That one. Trim that down a little bit. Hi Miranda, how are you? Hi Nicole. Nicole, I replied to your email, but I don't know whether you've seen it because I haven't had a reply back from you. Right.
Dee has just returned.
Oh, hi Dee.
Hi.
Oh, oh, funny. Okay, right, we're getting there. Okay, and then the last one. I've used this one. So just under 6 1/4. And then just under 11. Right, let's see where we are with this one. No worries, Nicole. Now I'm going to deduce from your that comment that I now that makes sense to me. Well, yeah. I can't send the parcel, Nicole, until you answer my email. I can imagine, Miranda. I've got 4 cats and a husband, and they're more than enough trouble. Sorry, dear, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, that's all right then. Right, okay, that's all good then. That's those 4 bits done. Okay, so what we need to do now is, now we've sorted out the front, we need to sort out the back, and then we can add these into our book, and then we can start to add the pretty stuff in. Oh, 5 cats is great. I think we need another one. Do you think we need another one, dear?
Of course.
Right, so from what we've got left, that's the front. That's page 1. That's page 2. That's page 3. And that's page 4. So the back of that one, those two are going to match. So if I cut that down to fit there, I know I'm going to have a gap there, but that's fine because I've got lots of bits of paper that I can piecemeal it from. So you see here, you kind of got that differentiation there. So let's cut that down to just under 11. Make sure it fits on the back. And glue that down. Oh, bits everywhere. Blimey, 4 boys. Oh, crikey. I don't envy you that. Although they do say that boys are easier than girls, don't they?
I've got 4 brothers and 1 sister.
4 brothers, yeah. I'll ask your mum, she should know.
Yeah.
What was page 1? Hold on 2 seconds, Elaine, and I will show you. So page 1. Page 1 was this one. With the trees. Nicole, lovely, don't worry. Don't worry at all. I'll message you afterwards and we'll have a chat. Okay? So yeah, page 1 is the nice trees. Page 2 and 3, they're facing. We've got that one, but we need to find a piece to go down there just to piecemeal it. Will that fit? Yeah. So let's cut that down. Oh, I should have me other trimmer. This one's brilliant, but when it comes to the tiny pieces, right, okay. That'll do. Big books are great, but they don't make you concentrate.
It's all in the tongue.
Yeah, it is all in the tongue. I have got my tongue out. How did you know?
I can hear it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's just got that little bit there. So those two, I like that. Those two go opposite each other like that, okay? So what we've got here is the girl on the castle. Now, I didn't have enough castle paper left over. So what I did was I used this one, I think. Yeah, that one. Was it that one? I've got so many bits left over. Mind you, it's nice not to have to scrabble around like, you know, we have done in the past, really. Let's see what I've got left. Put that on the back. Oh, I'm going to use this one. Right, let's cut that down to 11. Before we go tonight, I will show you the Christmas papers that are going to be in the Christmas kit. So this is going on the back of this one. So we've got our opening here. Oops. We've got our opening here to the left. If you turn it over, we're going to pop that on there like that, and then we'll find a piece to go down there. We've got loads, so it doesn't matter. I mean, to be honest with you, so long as you've put those bits by that I said earlier, those 4 pages, anything else is fair game. You can decorate these bits how you like. Most of it is going to be covered up anyway, so it's not like vital. You've got a bit more opportunity to sort of make it your own, I suppose. Right, what have we got here? Okay, so let's cut that off. Make sure that's wide enough. Yep. Cut that down to 11. Bless you.
Thank you.
Pop that there. There we go. So let's start at the beginning. This is the page as soon as you open your book. Some of these will be covered up with photo mats, Nicole. The page, so this is going to be the front page. This is going to be this one. So when you open it up, if I turn this over now, this one, that is that. So you're going to cover part of it with your photo mats here. And then on this page, we're going to be covering it up with the pictures that we're going to work on in a minute. So that's the next bit. Turn it over and we've got those bits. And then I'm going to turn that over again. And I need to add in my final page, which I'm going to use for this because we've got it. This big poinsettia, because that's still left. So, where's the middle? What's 6 1/4 if I halve it?
3 1/8.
Thank you, dear. So 3 1/8 from the middle actually isn't helping me a great deal. Be better off measuring it with my ruler first. 3 1/8. Oh, until I tidied up.
Yes.
This is just to give me a rough idea. So I'm using this as my middle point, and then what I've done is I've measured 3 1/8 of an inch either way, which should roughly give me the 6 1/4 that I need to go across that page. I think I'm gonna have to cut this down a bit, but it means that it's roughly centered. Let's see. Yep, that's good, but it does need to be trimmed down a little.
Sorry, Cal, where is that going?
This is going on the back of this page. Well, this is where our lassie on the castle, she's going there. So I've got those two. These are going to be covered up. You're not going to see it. This is the back of page 3. Yeah, you're right, Mel. Yeah. This is this page. Okay. Nope, still need to take some more off it. No, I've cut too much. Oh, no, I haven't. Right. Okay, so 11, just under is there. Take that off. And that should fit, blimey, miracle, on there. But I might just trim that down a tiny, tiny bit as well.
Nicole says, can you see book, please?
Yep, I'm working on this page now. So what I'm cutting out is this bit that goes behind. Okay.
Before poinsettia was a bit quick for me.
Yes, sorry, my apologies. I was kind of talking to myself, to be honest with you. I was measuring because I wanted to get it in the middle, and that was always going to be a disaster. Okay, so that actually goes opposite this one, bizarrely, but you're not going to see most of this. And then our last one, the back of page 4, which is this one, is a little bit more piecemeal. So I'm going to find a piece that will fit. Let's see what I've got left. Oh, that was the piece I was looking for before.
2 pages before.
Hold on, 2 ticks. Let me just cut that down. Right, so page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just working on this back bit here. They don't have to be identical. They don't, at this stage, it doesn't hugely matter. See you, Janet. It doesn't hugely matter because we're going to be sticking a lot of stuff over the top. I haven't even put that on straight. Right. Okay. It will all become clear once we start putting the pages together, the decoration. All we're doing now is covering up the white card and making ourselves a base to do the really pretty stuff on. Okay. Right, I'm going to put that away for a minute. So don't stress about this. We've just got to cover the pages so that we can work magic on top of them. Okay. Bit long, trim that down a little. Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm going to show you again what I've got here. Page 1, page 2 and 3, page 4 and 5, 6 and 7 and 8. What are you guys talking about? You're just watching. I think that would be wise. Nicole, that is absolutely, I totally think that you are 100% right. Okay, right, have we got our books? Let's get these pages in. No, they're different. These we've only just put these aside now, Linda. Right, so I'm going to open up my book. And the first thing I'm going to do with my hinges is I am going to mitre them. So you see where our hinge meets the spine? What we're going to do is we're just going to chop them off at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but I've chopped that at an angle to the spine, and that'll help us get our pages on so much easier. Okay, so I've just chopped all of those off at an angle. Look, guys, you're worrying over nothing. All that we've been doing is matting our pages. If you want to do it exactly the same as me, I've just shown you how. but you don't have to, and your book will look great. And you don't need to stress about what you've already put down, because we're going to cover most of it up anyway. So now I want to put my pages in my book, but always start at the back. Just find that so much easier. Sue, Cass and I did, well, I say I didn't do it, Sue did, an experiment to find out whether or not it really was easier putting them in from the back forwards, and the answer is yes, it is. So we're going to start off with our very last page, which is this one. And this page is going to go into our book with this opening here. We're going to glue it onto this hinge like that, okay? And that's going to fit in our book. Now our pages are the same length of the book. This makes putting the pages in so much easier because our page is going to line up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue on the front of that hinge, and on the back of that hinge we're going to slip that page over and make sure that it's stuck down really well. We are not going to put our page as hard up to the edge of that hinge, to the spine, as possible, because that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to make our pages lie flat, shall we say. We're going to keep our page slightly away from where the spine meets the hinge. So I'm going to just put some wet glue all the way down that hinge, on the back of that, and I'm going to put wet glue on the other side of the hinge too. I'm going to take my page with the open end, I'm going to pop that over that hinge like that, and I'm going to lie that page down. Make sure that it's lined up with my book, and I'm going to make sure that that is stuck really well, front and back. Okay? So yeah, you don't want it flush to the spine because that's going to make it harder to lie flat. Okay, so that's the first page in. Now we're going to put in the next page, and we're going to do it in exactly the same way. So what we're going to do is we are going to pop in some wet glue on both sides of this hinge. And we're going to add in the next page, which for me has got the winter tails, the poinsettias on the back, and it's just got this pretty blue stuff on the front. So I've popped that over my hinge. I'm going to lie that down on top, make sure that it lines up before I stick it completely. And now I'm just going to use my fingers just to make sure that I've got that stuck down as well as it possibly can to that hinge. Open it up and make sure that it's stuck on the other side. Okay, so I've got 2 pages in now.
Roughly how many millimeters?
Millimetres, 1 or 2.
Couple.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Not too many, but just enough so that your pages will lie flat. You can tell, Nicole, when you're putting them in how much you have to leave. It kind of does it for you. I mean, in one way, this is a bit trickier with a longer book, but it just means that you have to be a bit quicker when you put your pages in. So wet glue. Next page, which is that one. Pop that over the spine. Lie that page down on top. Make sure it's in the right place. And then I'm just going to use my fingers just to make sure I've got a really, really, really good seal on that page. Open it up, and the same on the back. But you can see that my pages are lying really flat already. Sometimes it takes a bit of time because, and I've said this before, we have to kind of train the paper to go in the direction that we want. We need to break some of those fibres of the paper up. But this one lies quite flat quite quickly. So last one. Let's just pop some glue on that final hinge. I do hope you guys all notice that I haven't had to prod my glue this week.
Why is that there?
I don't know. It's a bit unnerving, really.
Is it because I unblocked your hole?
It might be because of that, yeah. It might be because I've kept the lid on it.
I prefer my reason.
Yeah, your reason's good. All right, final page in. Let's just make sure that's on the hinge. Lie that down. And just press that into place.
Fulton said, did Mark fix it?
He did fix it.
Yes, I did.
Right.
Did it hurt?
It hurt me more than it hurt anybody else. Okay. So, those are the pages in. Now, we could stop there, but I don't want to. I want to carry on a bit more. So what I want to do now is get these bits in, so we look like we've actually achieved something. Yes, Nicole, you're quite right, she says, hurriedly putting the lid back on her glue. Yes, this is where I've been going wrong. Right, so what I want to do now is I want to cut out these flat bits that go on our illustrated page. And I want to show you how I have torn these bits that go behind. So what I want to do before we finish class tonight is on each of these 4 pages, I want to have cut out these backgrounds. We're going to distress the edges. I don't know how well you can see this, but I have actually distressed the edges of each page. And I've torn these bits here and put those behind, but I'll show you how I've done that. And I want to do that for each 4 of our pages. So next week we can start having a look at decorating it up. So we can put our book to one side because that looks super already, I think. So well done, guys, if you've managed to get this far. We're going to put that to one side and we're going to get these ones that I asked you to put by earlier. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut these out. So we know that this is 11 inches. Where's my ruler? Found it. But what we need to do is cut that bit at 4.5 inches width. So I'm going to choose on my papers which bit I like for my background, okay? Because this is the focal point now. This is when we start to choose the bits that speak to us. So I decided to choose that one with the house very much in the middle at the back. Now this is one way a bit of a waste of paper, but in another way it's so not, because you know this is what makes the book, well, these papers just make the book beautiful, so you know. Right, so I'm going to do exactly the same again. I'm going to put that house roughly in the middle. So I'm just going to chop indiscriminately. And I am going to cut this at 4.5. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to double check. Mark always says, measure twice, cut once. So I'm just going to do that. 4.5. Yeah, I have only cut the end of my finger off once. Okay, right. So 4.5. And I'm going to cut it down a bit. I'm going to cut it down to just under 11.
Gail says she's always used two-sided tape to attach pages and thinks the glue looks much easier.
Well, I like glue. I can't deny it. I like glue because...
Give her a link to the...
Oh, thank you. Ladies, we put our heart and soul into these books. Whether we make them because we just like the process of making books, whether we make them because we want to tell a story with them, so we're going to fill them with photographs of times that we've spent together with family and friends or weddings or whatever, these books are being made for a reason. And we want them to last. For me, wet glue means it's going to last. I've got books that I made 20 years ago with wet glue. Perfect. I've got books I made 20 years ago with double-sided tape, fallen to pieces. That's all I'm saying. Glue is great.
Ellie says, I'm back. What are we on about?
Glue, Ellie.
Sticky stuff.
Sticky stuff. I'm just explaining why I like glue and why these books are not just about what we're making, but maybe what we leave behind us. I think the amount of work and love that we put into them, it's kind of a nice thought that we might be leaving them behind for others to love as much as we do. So that's my theory. Right, page 1. Ta-da! That's now 4.5 inches by just under 11, okay? And that is going to fit on there like that when I've finished faffing about with some other bits, okay? But you get the idea. So the next one that I want to cut out is
4.5 inches.
4.5 inches is the width. Is the width of this bit that we're cutting out. These bits, you see, this bit here, that from there to there is 4.5 inches. Okay? And it's just under 11, which is the length of the paper. Okay, so now we've got this one, which is this one. So choose whichever bit you want to add down there, up to you, doesn't matter. And I'm going to cut that at 4.5 inches across. That's what I'm going to use for my background. I'm going to use this bit and I'm going to cut that down to 11. Okay, so that's that one. The next one is our fairy tale castle. So I'm going to cut that down, but I really want this lampy bit here is nice, but I don't want it in my picture because it's just going to look out of place. So I'm going to cut that off, and that is what is going to give me just what I need for my 4.5 inches background. And I'm going to cut that down to just under 11. Okay, and then the final one is, of course, everybody's favourite white flowers. So I am going to cut that down. Not so imperative with this. Well, actually, I suppose it is where the middle is. What's half of 4.5? 2 1/4. Let's measure that. So 2 1/4. I was good there, wasn't I? Where's my pencil? What did I say? 2 1/4.
Yep.
Right, so if I cut that there, that will be, look at that, that works. Look, middle.
Middle for the
Middle, no, that way, 11. Okay. Right. And put your trimmers away. We're done with those for now. Right, next job is distressing these edges. So you can use one of those really cute little round distress tools, which I've got somewhere, don't know where. But I'm actually going to use my scissors because it's cheaper. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scissors to just rough up the edges of this.
You say she was always saying, where's my pencil?
I should put it behind my ear, really. Mel bought me an absolutely gorgeous wrist ruler. And it's like one of those flicky things that you put and it goes round your wrist. Because I'm always losing my ruler, you know this. And no, I'm not wearing it because I forgot. I know where it is. It's downstairs on the dining room table.
Oh. We may well have packed it.
No, I haven't packed it. But I'll wear it tomorrow so you can see it tomorrow. All right, so I'm just distressing these edges. I'm not going to do the bottoms. I'm only doing the sides. And don't worry if you tear it. Doesn't matter.
Mel says it's not much use there.
No, I know. Sorry. I did tell you there was a flaw in the design, which was dependent upon me remembering to wear it.
It is shower-proof, though.
Is it?
Yes.
How do you know? Have you worn it in the shower?
I've had showers.
Oh. With my ruler?
We won't go there.
No, probably best not. Okay, so we're distressing that edge. You probably can't even see this, but I know it's there. So I've distressed that edge, okay, so it's all wibbly wobbly now. Now, in your kit, you have got some fancy papers. You've got a vellum. You've got a white pearlescent and you've got a blue pearlescent, which is rather lovely actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to tear it into strips. That's a good question, Liz. I don't know. Sometimes it's best not to ask. Good, Louise. I'm glad you're here. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear this into strips. And we are going to need 8 strips out of each sheet, okay? And no, actually 10, because we've got the one on the front to do, so we'll worry about that in a minute. So we're going to tear this into 10 strips. Now, when I'm tearing, if I tear towards me, it doesn't need to be hugely wide, this. When I tear towards me, and I'm going to tear little bits at a time because that's how I'm going to keep it straighter, I get a bit of an edge, which I like. So I'm just going to tear this, and I find it easier to lay it down and tear it, just little strips. And you can see here that I'm getting a torn edge, but it's slightly different colour because it's showing the core of the paper. And I like that. That looks pretty. So I'm just tearing that towards me. Okay, so I've got one there. I'm going to do another one. Actually, I don't need to. I can cut that with my... Oh, I forgot what I said about the trimmer. Because it doesn't matter if we've got straight edges, so we don't need to keep tearing it. So I'm just going to cut that down a bit. And now I'm going to tear this towards me. They don't need to be very wide. It's less than an inch. Much less than an inch, actually. Between 1/2 and 3/4.
That's 5/8.
About 5/8, yeah. Okay. Right, that's all I'm going to do with the blue for now. Otherwise we're going to be here all night. But you're going to need to do the same with the white. And you're going to need to do the same with the vellum. So I'm just going to tear enough to do one to show you at the moment. So you need to have a little bit of patience because you want to get it fairly straight. Okay, and the vellum as well. And this will tear much easier. You're not going to get quite such a wide sort of a core, because that's just the nature of vellum. But we're going to do something else to that once we've cut it. So, right. Now, you're going to have to repeat this process for each one, but I'm not going to do that with you all now because we will be here all night if we do all of them. So, I'm going to start off with my vellum piece, okay? And I'm just going to use my thumb to just kind of roll it, tear it a bit. I'm just mushing it up, basically.
Mush it.
Now, Miranda, this is you've got it. It's got to look distressed. Yes, it has got a shimmer, Ellie.
It's posh stuff.
Yeah, very posh. So I'm just using my thumb just to roll it up a bit because I want it to look messed up and distressed, okay? This is just on the vellum. Can't do it this way round. It's too confusing for me. Oh, that's probably because I'm doing it the wrong way. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to these middle bits. I'm just going to turn it over. I'm just going to run a spot of glue up there like that. And I'm going to take my vellum, mushed side up, and I'm just going to glue that onto the back of that paper so that I get a bit of a border, probably about 1/4 of an inch or so. Okay, I'll trim that down.
Miranda said it might be safe to cut then distress.
Well, you could, but it's the tearing side of it. The tearing side of it is kind of, if you cut it and then try and tear it, it's going to be a right pain in the butt because you're only going to be working with a narrow piece of paper, if that makes sense. Right, so I've got a border. And now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put one on the other side as well. So I've got my piece of vellum. And I'm just going to add that in there like that. Okay, chop that bit off. Okay, so I've got my vellum distressed on either side. Turn it over, spot of glue, and now I'm going to lay down the white paper. So I'm going to see that distressed edge where we've ripped the paper towards us. Can you see there? That's the core of my paper that I can see inside there. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So spot of glue, paper with the core side up, lie that down on top and layer that like that. Okay, chop that end off because we don't need it. Right, guess what we're going to do now? Spot of glue on the back of the white piece of the sort of pearlescent paper. I've got my navy piece and I'm going to lie that down. So I've got that quite distinct edge. Okay, guess what? See this side? Do the same again. So those fancy papers that we had, we've torn, we've distressed them, and we've got a really interesting edge to our papers, I think. So all we're going to do now is open up our book onto that. This one, the one that goes at the back, and I'm going to pop it right in the middle of that page there like that. Okay, so I'm going to put some wet glue on the back. I'm going to leave a little bit of glue, you know, I'm not going to put this glue all the way to the edge because we're going to be adding things and tucking things in. And I'm now going to glue that down like that. Okay, we all right with that? So simple to do. And yeah, I'm going to say it, Liz, it does look pretty darn good. Okay, so I want you to repeat that with each page going forwards. So the next one, this is the lassie with the castle, this is the lassie on horseback, and this is the squirrel. However, what I've forgotten is the one that goes on the front. That's kind of important too. And we're going to do that in exactly the same way. And I've just chosen, I don't even know which bit of paper it is. It doesn't matter because we've got loads of it. Just choose one of these because we don't need these bits anymore. So choose one that you like and just do your 4.5 inch cross there. And then distress that and do exactly the same. You've got your vellum, your blue, your white. Okay, and then we're going to put those onto the book like that. Okay, right, so your homework is to put that together over the next week. So I want you to distress the edges of each of these 4 bits. I want you to add in your papers, your vellum, your white and your blue. Doesn't actually matter which way round you do it, because I've just realised that mine went vellum, blue, white. It doesn't make the slightest bit of difference, I don't think. It's up to you.
Mix it up.
Mix it up, yeah, exactly. So that's going to be the next one that goes on there. Then that one on there. And that one on there. And then I'm going to choose one for the front as well. Doesn't matter which. So that's what I want you to do before next week. What I would also like you to do is just find a piece of paper and just cover that, okay? as close as possible. So if I open this up now, you can see that I've used, you know, it's quite close. We're going to cover up all of the grey board, and we're going to just put in a piece down the side as well, because, you know, if it's not far enough across, if it's not wide enough, we can just add in a piece there. And then I just want you to add in a piece at the back as well, so that the book is actually completely covered. So, okay, are we good with that? What we'll do next week is we'll start to actually build up the patterns on our pages, and we'll take it from there.